Hey everybody, this is Gabe from the Team Yes and the Minnesota Red Ribbon Ride. Just some information out there for new riders. Number one, coming up here in a week we have Day on the Ride, which if you're a new rider, something you're definitely going to want to think about doing. It really gets you into what the ride's all about, gets you used to a group ride with sweep teams and hydration ideas on what you do and don't do during the ride. It'll really give you a good fit test for your bike and just a good all-around experience for what the ride's going to be like when we come up on the ride in a month. Now when we get to the actual ride, you need to check in before the ride at St. Joan of Arc, and you go through a ride safety video. They check to make sure that you've got your wristbands, you get some information, make sure that you've got your donations met if you're a rider, or you can do some self-pledging. You have some time on that yet. Once you get to the actual ride, you want to arrive as early as you feel like you can to Mall of America. There's no overnight parking there, so you need to have somebody drop you off, or you need to get there somehow if you're a rider. Once we get there, we do some stretching, some little activities as a group to get ready to start on the ride. There's usually a nice speaker that is really motivating. And then we ride out. We ride down to Lake City our first night, and when you get there as a new rider, you're going to go and bring your bike in. You're going to leave your bike in bike parking where we have overnight security. And in overnight security, you don't have to worry about your bike at all. But one thing you will want to do is bring either a plastic shower curtain for your bike or some kind of plastic to put over your seat, because regardless or not if it rains, your bike seat will get wet sitting overnight. Also, you want to grab your water bottles, because you're not supposed to go back to your bike and do things to it in the course of the evening. So you want to have your water bottles with you and ready for the next day during the ride. Hydration is key. Throughout the ride, you want to keep making sure that you drink lots and lots of liquids and lots of carbohydrate fluids. I usually use Powerade. I believe the ride usually is supplied with Gatorade as an option. People that are diabetics or don't want sugar can use things like none, but you definitely want to use some kind of electrolyte / carbohydrate replacement when you're doing the ride. There's plenty of food and stuff, so definitely hit the electrolytes. And don't just start the day of the ride. Start the day or two before the ride, making sure that you've got enough liquid in your body, enough food so that you're fueled up, and so that you've got enough electrolytes in your system. Right now we're about a month out. You definitely want to make sure that you've got your miles cranking up there. If you haven't done more, make sure you get on your bike and do at least 2 or 3 rides a week that have 25 miles or more. And you want to do a couple rides back to back. Some experienced riders would suggest that you do try at least a couple 50-mile rides or more. And just get out there on your bike. Make sure that it fits you well. The worst thing to have is when you get out on the ride the first day or the second day and realize that your bike really isn't fit well, because that can lead to a lot of knee problems and pains that you don't want to have. As far as getting on the ride itself, you don't have to worry. It's not like the Iron Man. There is a lot of support. There are a lot of sweep crews. Actually, my wife is on one of the sweep crews, and I'm going to be doing sweep this year. I've been a rider for the last 3 years, so I know a lot about what it's like to be a rider. I also know what it's like to be swept. And don't worry, if you're having problems there, you can get swept, and there's a lot of doctors and nurses on hand in the Red Ribbon Ride at no charge to help you out if you have problems, if you get tense or sore, have problems. A lot of experience and a lot of help. And remember, it's not a race. The idea of the ride is to spread awareness and raise money for the beneficiaries. So you don't really have to get out there and worry too much about going fast. And if something hurts, take a break, take a stop, have a snack, get swept. You can get swept the whole day if that's something that you need to have. You don't need to worry about where we stay at nights. All but the first night, there are places where you can stay inside. There's also tents. You can actually contact me if you want to by clicking on my page on YouTube or through the Red Ribbon Ride. And I've got some tents I can borrow people that are doing the ride if they want to borrow. I'm also available for any other information that you need. One thing I would definitely do for the ride is bring lots of sunscreen. Doesn't matter your skin tone or color, but one thing you will use is sunscreen. Also, something I just learned this year through my optometrist, make sure you've got some really, really good sunglasses. I'm not that old, but I've got some degeneration actually in one of my eyes because of all of the going out and biking that I've been doing and not using proper eyewear. So make sure that you go out and get yourself a good pair of sunglasses before the ride. You want to make sure you've got some good coatings and protections in your sunglasses. So big things: get your bike fit, do your fundraising, get electrolyted up before the ride, get some sleep, and make sure that you've got some sunscreen eyewear. Any other questions? Let me know. Thanks. Hope you enjoy the ride.